Savage here, aka the Texas Trash Talker, coming at you from Austin. I'm your zero waste expert and recycling nerd of 20 years. So, I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about the origins of Labor Day, and happy Labor Day, by the way. Um, and I wanted to put this in a context of a sector of business that a lot of us just don't really think about, and that would be the waste sector. And the reason that a lot of us just don't think about what happens to our waste downstream once it leaves our property or our home, we just kind of forget about it. It goes, away somewhere. And I always like to ask the question, where is away when we live on a circular planet with finite resources? So I wanted to give a shout out to all the workers in the waste sector, recycling, composting sectors that keep our communities clean, keep our businesses clean, and, provide a critical service to our society. Many nations don't have the kind of waste structures that we have here in America. But many overseas and in other countries are far better than what we have. So we have a lot of work to do around improving our systems as well. So I wanted to just kind of preface that, what I want to talk about with, the appreciation that I have for people who are in the waste sector, who are recyclers, the purchasers of the recyclable materials, the manufacturers who use recyclable material in their new products, the farmers who compost, the compost haulers, and the processors who turn all that food waste and yard waste into rich, valuable, nutrient-dense compost soil to amend our soils that grow our crops, and it's where our food comes from, right? So this is really they're a key component in the circular economy. Right now, if you think about it, we live in a very linear economy where we extract raw resources, and then we refine them, and then we make them into a product. We transport them across the country or overseas that get onto our store shelves, and then 6 months later we dump them because they broke. So there's a whole movement globally right now called the circular economy, where we're taking the two ends, points A and point Z, and we're actually making them into a loop, and we're making it a circular system so that we can feed and refeed these materials back into the manufacturing, remanufacturing, fabrication, industries and sectors, so that we can have new products on our store shelves that are made from recycled materials. So the waste haulers, the recyclers, the composters, they are such a huge critical part of getting the circular economy going, and to make it a more regenerative process. Right now, the linear economy is extremely destructive, and it's been the status quo for far too long. So I just want to express my appreciation for those who are in these sectors, because they make my job a little easier as a zero waste consultant, right? I can come to businesses and I can say, you'll need to do X, Y, and Z. But if the companies that service X, Y, and Z, as far as recycling and composting and such, aren't in the area, then that company, my client, is kind of out of luck, right? So we need to build out our infrastructure for recycling. And for far too long, we've been kind of just dumping it on other countries, and it was out of sight, out of mind. It went away, right? But again, there's no such place as away. It's usually in somebody else's backyard or in our oceans, which neither is responsible, of us as Americans. So we really need these companies to keep doing what they're doing to keep our streets clean and our businesses clean, as well as, really think about how we can make that circular economy with more infrastructure. And I believe the Inflation Reduction Act has a lot of money set aside for building out infrastructure and to support these systems that are helping keep materials out of our landfills. These are highly valuable materials, folks. They are not trash. So we have to shift how we look at these materials. A lot of these materials, like your cardboard and your paper and metals, they go for a high price on the commodities market. So if we can put those back into the loop through a circular system, then we don't have to invest money in the extraction process, the refining process, the transportation process. We can keep materials local at the local level and build local jobs to support the local tax base. So that's really the basis for what I do and why I do what I do. And it's because the haulers in the area who service the area of my clients, my corporate clients or my governmental clients, they provide such a key service and helping these businesses get to zero waste and to help them close that loop. So again, just wanted to put that out there. But as far as Labor Day as a holiday goes, I'm not sure how much you guys really know about it, but it was something that was created it really does represent the culmination of decades and decades of struggle by workers who are seeking fair wages, reasonable hours, and safe working conditions. Now, the origins of Labor Day, they stretch back to the late 1800s. So when many Americans worked 12-hour days, 7 days a week, hazardous environments, even kids young as 5 years old in factories, workers basically had no protections. And the waste management industry was really no exception. So if you think about garbage collectors, they worked for pitiful wages. They were hauling waste by hand, home to home and business to business. So they really faced some serious health risks from exposure to dangerous materials and unsanitary conditions. So many of them succumbed to really awful injuries and illnesses. Cities were just back then drowning in trash and hazardous waste from homes and businesses and more industrial properties. So, the garbage collectors worked tirelessly to keep cities clean, but they really had no protections, and their health was just basically expendable. So in response, the workers really banded together into unions like the Teamsters. And the Teamsters oversee all modes of transportation in the U.S., whether it's plane, train, or automobile. So the Teamsters gave workers really a collective voice to advocate from the grassroots level for reforms. And major early victories included reduced hours and personal protective equipment for waste collection. And through the unions, those waste collectors finally won even just basic rights that I think we kind of take for granted now. So in the 1930s, the Teamsters actually negotiated the use of trash trucks so that workers weren't hauling, on their backs or in their own automobiles. They were advocating for trucks that were actually used and designed to carry large loads of trash from these communities. So gradually, through solidarity, workers won lots of newer protections. So like the 8-hour workday, which you and I hopefully you and I appreciate, workplace safety laws, so much more. So think of like the OSHA standards, right? So the occupational safety and health type standards that businesses have to comply with. So the transformation of waste work from really deadly to a modern profession is really thanks to the labor movement, which is why we celebrate Labor Day every year. And There were some major technical advances in the 1950s to the 1970s. Innovations like landfills, right? Recycling, and even compactor trucks that helped mechanize the waste collection and the processing. So, this really radically improved the safety for these workers by reducing direct worker exposure to household waste, hazardous waste materials, and other innovations like curbside recycling and automated collection really further improved efficiency and worker health. Now, these days, we're seeing robotic sorting technology in recycling recovery facilities that also protects workers as well. You'll see like optical sorters and all sorts of robot arms that are picking things off the line. So it's really cool to see. If you ever have an opportunity to go to your local recycling plant for a tour, call them up and see if they'll give you a tour so that you can see kind of what's happening on the line as these recyclable items come from homes and businesses in your local area over to the recycling plant so that they can be sorted into their proper material categories. So even with modernization, our problems just with waste haven't really gone away. They haven't been solved. Unfortunately, landfills are overflowing with recyclable items that should have been diverted over the last 40, 50 years. And incinerators just burn recoverable resources and put out toxic byproducts like fly ash. So single-use plastics even are a modern-day convenience, but they are one of the biggest polluters of our environment. So the circular economy really offers a solution that's maximizing reuse, repurposing, and recycling to eliminate waste, and it benefits the environment as well as the company's bottom line. You can save on material costs. You can return value from or get returned value from collected recyclables. You can slash your disposal expenses and even meet consumer demand for sustainability. Maybe it's even your employees, maybe it's your shareholders, maybe it's your investors as well that are demanding sustainability. Maybe your industry competitors are setting the bar so high that you're going to have to come up and meet them there. Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you're the one leading the way as a company and you're raising your entire industry to better standards. So workers, businesses, and the planet can prosper through zero waste and circular economy. And we do that through responsible and sustainable materials management. So this Labor Day, of course, as we enjoy our time off, let's remember those who struggle to bring dignity and safety to waste work. And let's continue their fight by embracing circular economy opportunities that are strong benefit for workers, businesses, and the environment. I welcome your thoughts on building a more sustainable future. Go ahead and like and share and put your questions or your comments in the comment section. Anyway, logging off. Till next time. I'll see you tomorrow. All right, y'all. Take care.